Hey folks, welcome to another episode of SwillinGrog's Wonderful World of Beer. This evening I shall be reviewing a brew that's a very rare commodity here in Australia. Miller Lite, 4.2% alcohol by volume, brewed and bottled by the Miller Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the United States of America. Now Miller Lite, or light beer by Miller as it was once known, has been around since 1973, so a good 41 years, although its origins actually go back to 1967 in fact. But I won't talk anymore about the very interesting history of Miller Lite. That's something that I plan to save for an examination of it that I'll be doing with Jay Terrio of Louisiana Beer Reviews and Jez Lawson. Now Miller Lite is currently the number 4 selling beer in the United States, but as I said in my introduction, it's a very rare commodity here in Australia, probably because of its name Miller Lite. It's not really something that we could market in Australia, well at least as Miller Lite, because it's not of course at 4.2% ABV, perceived as a light beer here. Anyway, I think it's high time that I cracked open this lovely 355ml brown bottle of Miller Lite. It's actually a vortex bottle, an interesting gimmick that they've obviously got at the moment. So yeah, I'm curious to see if it pours out the opposite, in the opposite direction here in the southern hemisphere. Alright, so anyway, let's crack this bottle open. It's a twist top, as you can see. There was a little bit of smoke there. Okay, and more smoke. Alright, so I'm pouring it out into this lovely Spiegelau Pilsner glass. Alright, it's very effervescent. Okay, so let's talk about the appearance. Well, the appearance is a very clear, light golden yellow colour. It's very carbonated, and we've got a nice thick white head there, just a little under 3 fingers. Anyway, let me just top that up. We'll get the whole bottle into the glass. Alright. Okay, unfortunately I didn't pay any attention to the direction of the beer as it was coming out of the vortex bottle, but I can only assume that it was swirling around in the opposite direction as I'm in the southern hemisphere. Anyway, let's move on to the aroma. Alright. Well, what I'm picking up is a very faint smell of sweet grains. There's not much else there, but yeah, it certainly smells very appealing, and it's only my second beer for this evening, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to gulping this down. Anyway, yeah, we've talked about the appearance and we've talked about the aroma, so time for the taste test. So cheers to you all. Alright, well, yeah, that really finishes nicely. I mean, it's, yeah, very drying. I mean, it's, very crisp and clean. Nice, sweet malts up front. Very minimal, like, bitterness there just for balancing. Taste-wise, it's, very reminiscent of, Miller Genuine Draft. Probably a slightly milder version of Genuine Draft, I would go as far as saying, but somehow crisper, somehow cleaner, and yeah, a little bit drier as well. But gee whiz, it's really refreshing, and I can just imagine how satisfying this would be in the Aussie summer. Anyhow, time for another gulp. it's definitely holding that taste profile. You know, it is quite light, it is quite mild, but you know, I wouldn't really call it watery. You know, there's a definite, beer flavour there to it, and you know, it's very satisfying. You know, its drinkability is astronomically high. I mean, you could have a fantastic session on this at 4.2% ABV. You know, I would love it if it was widely available in Australia. You know, in the summer I would just be like smashing this down. Well, pardon me. Alright, well, anyway, yeah, I think it's time to wrap this up. Let me take my last gulp. Alright, well, all in all, it's a fantastic beer for its style. I mean, there's nothing offensive about it flavour-wise. You know, it's very drinkable. You know, even, in the winter time here, it's hitting the spot for me. So, what would I give it in terms of a score out of 10, you may ask? Well, I'd be more than happy to give it a 9.25 out of 10. That's it from me. Thanks for joining me once again for a SwillinGrog beer review. And until next time, folks, fare thee well, all.